So, Darren, I haven't watched the primetime committee hearings. Can you just give our audience, I don't think our audience has either really, what have they been talking about? Do you believe that they're building momentum towards a criminal conspiracy case against Trump? Give us the update.
Yes, and in fact, look, you're not missing anything by not watching it, and I wouldn't recommend anybody waste their time watching it because, as I've stated on your program before, what's important about January 6th is what they're not talking about, and so you're not going to get anything of value from them. But you might get something of value from this latest Revolver.News piece because it really explores this latest push of the January 6th committee toward criminal prosecution. You're hearing a lot of commentators say, oh, what's going on is this is an audience for one, which I guess for them would be good because it's been a ratings flop, actually. And that one person is Merrick Garland, the Attorney General. And the idea is the committee will serve up effectively an indictment for Merrick Garland to use to prosecute Trump. Now, the political dimensions of this are manifestly scandalous and inappropriate. For the regime, the Biden regime, to hang over the head of Trump, who is the presumptive GOP nominee, Biden's presumptive political rival, to hang over his head the possibility of criminal prosecution is really outrageous. But when you dig in to the deep history of the January 6th committee, you really find something remarkable. Now, there's a name, Norm Eisen, which people may have heard of because Revolver.News made him famous 2 years ago. He is the former ethics czar for Obama, a hatchet man, a legal hatchet man. He was the architect of the impeachment. In fact, he wrote up the impeachment before Trump's nothing burger call even happened. He's been there since day one. And actually, he turns out to be a color revolution operative who literally wrote a book called The Playbook on how to oust foreign authoritarian regimes. And he's using every step in that playbook against Trump. And he's been doing it since 2017. Well, as it turns out, Benny Thompson actually sued Trump, Giuliani, the Oath Keepers, and the Proud Boys. In his personal capacity, he sued them according to this outlandish conspiracy theory, literal conspiracy theory, whereby Trump colluded with these militia groups to criminally incite insurrection. Now, this lawsuit was initiated in February of 2021, so barely a month after January 6th. Now, Benny Thompson is not known for his brains or for his work ethic necessarily. And so it's not Benny Thompson sitting in his basement coming up with a legal theory that's ready to go barely a month after January 6th. No, you have to look at who his counsel is. Who's the counsel who actually came up with this theory of January 6th that was the basis of the lawsuit? It was a guy called Joseph Sellers. And you do a little digging, as we did in this piece, it turns out Norm Eisen is good friends with Joseph Sellers. And it goes beyond that. Norm Eisen and Joseph Sellers are longtime lawfare collaborators against Trump, dating all the way back to January of 2017, when they worked together to sue Trump on this ridiculous theory that the possibility that foreign dignitaries would stay at Trump hotels was a constitutional violation. So Norm Eisen's friend and frequent lawfare collaborator is literally the author of the personal lawsuit by Benny Thompson that later became the basis for the January 6th committee. Eisen's fingerprints are all over this. In fact, we cover it in great detail. He joined an amicus brief directly with Benny Thompson. He sued various militia groups according to a theory that very closely follows the lawsuit. Just the fact that Benny Thompson personally sued Trump under a theory of the case in a normal world should be disqualifying for him to run this ostensibly objective January 6th committee. But no, he goes on to do it. And what this piece does is it uncovers the hidden hand of our erstwhile infamous color revolution operative, Norm Eisen. He is also the lawfare architect of the entire January 6th operation.
Wow.
It's an extension of the impeachment proceedings that failed. And really, the whole purpose of this is to kneecap Trump politically so he's not a factor in 2024. And that's what's going on with all of these recent revived calls and urgent calls for criminal prosecutions stemming from the investigation of the January 6th committee.